In the last video we looked at the idea of an ancient prehistoric shark, the Megalodon, dodging extinction and still living hidden somewhere in the vast oceans of the planet. Evidence and sightings of the aquatic beast are rare, yet people still cling to the hope that one day the creature will be rediscovered, much in the same way as the coelacanth. Looking at another large animal, this time on land, a species that is also said to be extinct, we find more compelling evidence. Reports of sightings say there is more than a single solitary beast, but a still living small population. This answering the often repeated statement there would need to be enough animals to breed. So, what creature is this? I am talking about the woolly mammoth. So let's take a look. Welcome to IF, videos on history, mystery and the strange. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a video again. Most know the story of the mammoth. Woolly mammoths thrived during the last ice age. They became extinct when the weather became warmer and their food supply changed. There has also been the suggestion that humans were responsible for their disappearance, in part down to overhunting of the hairy pachyderm. Mammoths were similar to modern day elephants, the differences being the obvious thick fur coat. They were around the size of an African elephant with smaller ears than those of today's elephants. This was likely another adaptation to the cold climate. The ears being closer to their heads kept their body temperature up, the opposite of how today's elephants use their ears to cool themselves down. They had large tusks, about 15 feet or 5 meters. These were most probably used for fighting and digging in the deep snow to find buried vegetation, mammoths being herbivores with a mostly grass-based diet. These tusks are still highly sought after today, and mammoth ivory is traded across the planet. Mammoth tusk hunters work in the Siberian region of the Yucatan. They can make huge sums of money. One ivory hunter found a 65 kilogram tusk which was later sold for $34,000. This to a Chinese dealer. These Chinese ivory traders wait in the tusk hunters' villages to buy what they find and keep a supply of ivory flowing into China for the use in traditional Chinese medicine markets. This is a profitable business, with ivory hunters earning around $100,000 in a single week. The problem is, they destroy the remains of the mammoths they find, as they uncover everything, including mammoth skulls and bones, and leave it to be consumed by the elements. This is a sad destruction of historically important relics. Others are not so worried, including many of these tusk hunters. Why is this? They are not worried, as they say the mammoth is not extinct and that there are small herds roaming the isolation of the Siberian tundra. Over the years there have been many reports of the animals. The 1940s, military pilots flew over the dense taiga of the Yucatan and spotted a small herd of animals very similar to woolly mammoth. In 1978, a similar story happened to a group of people on the Indigirka River in Yucatan. They claimed that one early morning they woke up to about a dozen mammoths calmly drinking from the river. This may have the more skeptical among you scoffing, but the last mammoth went extinct very recently. It is widely accepted that the final group of mammoths lived on Wrangel Islands until 3,380 years ago. This has been contradicted by periodic reports of these beasts still living. Back in 1580, a Siberian family called the Stroganovs hired a band of Cossacks to track down a group of bandits who had been stealing from their mines. The leaders of the expedition, Yermek Timvoyevich, claimed that when he ventured past the Ural Mountains, he ran into a large hairy elephant. On his return to the village and telling of the strange interaction with an elephant-like animal, locals told him that the Kingdom of Sibir, the Khanate of Sibir, also historically called the Khanate of Turin, were located in southwestern Siberia, with a Turco-Mongol ruling class, had accepted the existence of the mammoth and considered the giant animals a valued food source and called them mountains of meat. Another sighting of a living mammoth comes from 1873, when a prisoner attempted to escape a Siberian prison. The convict was making his way along the Amur River in the hope of reaching China. He came upon a group of Cossacks, so he turned and headed north to avoid capture. Doing this led him into the Aldan Mountains. As night crept in, the man made his way to a lake and lit a fire, which was not the best idea. As the darkness grew, the man heard heavy footsteps of many large animals. In panic, the man took out his gun and fired off a few shots into the darkness. Whatever the animals were, they fled. The following morning, the man found the tracks of the animals. He followed them whilst looking for a safer place to camp. This led him to find a cave. He ventured in, and this is when he claims he saw a fully grown mammoth. He described the animal as 12 feet tall and 18 feet long. It was covered in reddish wool and black hair. The curving tusks were about 10 feet long. Another story in 1918 is that of a Russian hunter who claimed to have spotted a couple of mammoths. This story was recorded by a M.L. Gallon, the man in charge of the French consulate in Vladivostok during the 20s. Gallon spoke with the hunter about the sighting and said that the man did not understand what he meant when he called the animal a mammoth. The hunter simply stated that what he saw was similar to pictures of elephants which he had seen before. The mammoth has also been reported outside of the vast emptiness of Siberia. On Monday, March 29, 1897, a Portland newspaper published a long conversation with a Colonel C.F. Fowler of the Alaskan Fur and Commercial Company. In the interview, he provides clear evidence that in the interior of Alaska, there were or are many mastodons surviving until today. He claims that he first discovered evidence of living animals among some fossil ivory collected by the natives. Two tusks showed evidence of being taken from an animal that was recently alive. On questioning the native who sold the ivory, he was surprised to receive a full description of the immense beast which had been killed by the natives, a description fully identifying the animal as a mastodon. Sightings continue to roll in as mentioned earlier. In 1944, a number of pilots flying from Alaska to Moscow reported a herd of mammoths walking single file, easily spotted against the stark white snow. A headmistress of a small village school near Russia's Taz River may claim to have encountered a mammoth in 1956. This while she was out picking mushrooms. She said that the animal approached within 10 meters of her location and was easily identifiable as a mammoth. 1989, a hunter claims to have seen two groups of mammoths, each consisting of 3 individuals. Another story comes from a party of gold prospectors working near a tributary of the Indikira River who reported seeing a herd of mammoths. Most recently, in 2012, a video went viral that showed a live woolly mammoth. The footage was caught by a government-employed engineer during the summer in Chukotka Autonomous Okrug region of Siberia. It would seem that this region is a hotbed of sightings. Many still hunt for the living specimens of the mammoth, while others say that the animal is lost. The final twist to the story comes in the form of resurrection. The mammoth is an animal that is said to be one of, if not the first, extinct creature to be brought back from the dead, thanks to the frigid conditions that have preserved the dead animals and provided a source of ivory for the Siberian hunters. It has also made fresh genetic material, including liquid blood, available to scientists who will attempt to clone the animal. Just last year, a team of scientists from Japan and Russia announced a significant step forward in an effort to bring the woolly mammoth back to life. In a study published in the journal Scientific Reports, researchers announced that they have managed to recover cells from the left hind leg of a juvenile mammoth that was discovered in the Siberian permafrost back in 2011. Cell nuclei from the mammoth believed to have been roaming what is today northern Russia around 28,000 years ago were successfully implanted in mouse cells. While this is a positive development, none of the samples produced the cell division that is required for a mammoth to be coaxed back to life. But these researchers are close and are not quitting. With more mammoths being uncovered by receding permafrost due to a warmer climate, more material becomes available and more teams of scientists join the race to become the first to clone the mammoth and other prehistoric creatures once hidden in the ice. Do you think they will succeed? Is this a good idea? And are you looking forward to a world where once extinct animals walk again? Let me know in the comments below. As always, if you like what I do here on the channel, hit that red button, like and share. You can catch the latest by searching We Are If. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.